We're here at Create, the perfect place for helping emerging concepts grow. Can you tell us a little bit about how Sysco is supporting these types of brands?
I think in a few ways. I think one thing is if you look in the past, you had your street people selling, and I think in this situation, what we created, we started talking about it in 2016. One of the things we created was how do we stabilize and help them put their cost controls in place? How do we help them with supply chain? How do we help them reduce some of their cost of goods so that they can tighten up their supply chain and they can grow? So we've got a team of 6 people in the country that work in different areas, and they actually go work with the customer, 5 million plus, 2 regions net new, and they take that business and they help stabilize their cost of goods by working with partners.
Awesome. All right, so in supporting these emerging brands, Sysco does a lot of work. How do you help these operations gain a competitive edge as they grow?
I think one of the ways we gain a competitive edge is we look at the inbound supply chain, the outbound, which Katie will talk about a little bit in a minute, but we look at what's their business like and how do you take that business, because it's their second core expense. It's either labor or it's food cost. So whoever you buy from, whatever distribution company you work with, I think it's really important as an operator, you have to focus on your customer experience and your culture and your brand because it's your baby. But if you look at the distribution side, sometimes I think they're so focused on those things, they don't take a really good look at their supply chain to be able to, how do I tighten that up so we can resource those products the right way, we can fill those items, our core items can get out, and we can service customers the right way.
All right, so what should growing restaurant brands look for in these distributor partners?
Great question. So first of all, we love working with emerging restaurateurs. It's a great segment to be in. I find the audience very, they're starting to think scale and how to get bigger, and we love to get bigger with them, right? So we are able to come in as a distributor partner and help create solutions. Jim was just talking about like the sourcing solutions or kind of an inbound distribution model. We love to help find if you have products on your menu and a complete assortment. We have a range of many specialty companies that will help us get that assortment across all of USBL. Consistency also creates, I think, a cost, right? That is consistent, which will help you grow. So we definitely love to work with this segment of the business and help them grow.
For us, it was really important. What do we look at for the next 4 or 5 years? How do we look at these independent restaurants that are actually going to grow, and how do we help support them in that growth? Because you can look at it in 2 ways. You can look at it, you can open a restaurant in New York, you can open a restaurant in Los Angeles, but then how are you going to get the products there? So it's really important you think about those core areas and your growth so you can fix your supply chain solution up front before you start to open and start to scale those brands.
Makes total sense.
It's a great point, Jim. And I'll just add on that part of, the competitive advantage that we like to offer is really just the level of communication for folks that are growing from 2 to 5 to maybe 10 units over the next couple of years. This sometimes can be hard stuff, right? Yep. And we want to help give them the solution so that we grow with them. So they understand if you have a very specific item on the East Coast, how do you get it to the West Coast? If we can do that, or should we use our scale and our size to work with suppliers to help create or utilize something that's already in the industry, which will help save cost and create a consistent customer experience.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think, again, after what happened 5 years ago and going through the pandemic and where the industry is today, I think when you build a formula with your restaurant and you figure out what those ingredients are, you have to be very specific. Can I get that ingredient? Who do I buy that ingredient from? What does that ingredient look like? And can I get it into the restaurants? Because we've seen so much in this industry where you bring your recipes, your items into the restaurant, and that's really what you have to have. We get it. The proprietary items are very important, but you can probably save money and you'll probably have a better supply chain solution if you find ingredients that your food service distributor has available most of the time. Because a food service distributor also has core manufacturers that they buy from, like we call them the top 200. And she said the USBL, that's our US Broadline earlier. And in the US Broadline system, we have about 200 core vendors that we work very closely with. And we're at about 99% plus fill rate inbound to our Sysco sites. So it's really important, whoever your distributor is, make sure you've got a good solution that's also around their items so you can scale, because bringing in those proprietary items could be at a large expense, whether it's overnight, whether it's 3 or 4 day shipping, whether it's getting it from LA to New York like we talked about, because you have to have that special squid. So it's important to make sure that you have those ingredients set up through your distributor and work through that order guide together before you go live.
All right, so what are some other ways that Sysco is partnering with these emerging brands?
Thanks. Great question. So part of the area that I help with is called customer readiness, right? But the most thing I'm proud of for working with Sysco is we are creating centralized solutions for these customers. Whether that's, has the truck shown up? Where's the truck? Maybe a supplier isn't able to fill an order and we can communicate that. One central point of contact for credit, right? All of those services, instead of being very fragmented in your supplier solution, we all have it in one area. And now at Sysco, we've combined it to where you have a central point of contact to assist with these emerging brands. So we're very proud of that service. As we onboard the customer, we go through all of this, we understand their preferences, right? So if they have 5 more next year, we already have the answers, right? We don't have to go back through the same, we can refresh, but we don't have to go back through the same information. We can get the same supply chain, right? We can manage it out to other new markets. So it's very exciting for us.
Awesome.
Right. Katie, I thank you. I mean, we work a lot together on bringing on new customers. And, I think about it like this. If you look at your business, again, like I said earlier, it's your baby. Think about the distribution model and what that looks like. Really take a deep look. But at the end of the day, it's really important that you look after your business that way. And how do you centralize that purchasing that Katie just talked about to keep your business healthy and keep it growing?
Well, Jim and Katie, thank you so much for joining us here. This is great work that you're doing. I know you have an innovation forum. Can't wait to hear more there. And thank you so much for joining us at Create.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thank you.